Please,
okay.
don't touch your mother.
Okay,
we have to focus. We're having big boy, big girl talk.
My mom. Okay, shh.
Please.
Can you just act like you like me for a second? I don't know if I want to keep this.
First of all, public display of affection. Please, not here. And we're gonna talk about the baby. The baby's expensive, all right? We're barely paying bills. I don't know how we're gonna afford the thing.
I'm the one that sees someone takes care of it.
You take care of it, and I'm the one working and paying the bills, and you know.
Look how great Missy turned out.
Let's just.
It's
Where's
okay
the counselor? Where's the genetic counselor?
Hello.
Hi.
Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again.
How you doing?
Got the genetic counselor. Her name's Amber.
Hi, I'm Megan.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to see you. Hi,
This is
Hi,
this
what's
is
up?
Misty.
Nice to see you
Michael.
again.
Hi, Misty. Hi.
Okay, so how are you doing?
I'm just worried. I don't know if I should keep the kid or not. Apparently it's spotty.
I don't know. I was laughing before
Mhm.
because like she was holding the kid weird, but bottom line is we're worried and we want to figure out like what options do we have. It's expensive. We barely could afford one kid.
Okay, I understand.
I'm sorry,
that.
he's being heartless. We're worried.
I'm just
It's
restless.
okay. Well, actually, like, what I'm about to tell you maybe shouldn't worry you as much as maybe some other mutations may. But basically, we did the genetic test that we ran, and we found that everything seemed normal except there was one mutation, and it's called a factor V Leiden mutation. And she's going to talk more about that. But basically, we saw that in your family history, your mom recently passed away young from a PE.
Yeah.
So we thought that maybe venous thromboembolism may run in your family.
What is that exactly?
So venous thromboembolism is basically when a clot gets loose and it gets stuck in the venous system, and this usually is derived from DVTs that are in your lower legs. So I don't know if your mom ever complained about any DVTs that you knew
all
about.
the time.
All the time. Okay, so I think that could be related to the venous thromboembolism that may run in your family, which is why we found the factor V Leiden mutation in your DNA. And typically also these are generally seen in bedbound patients, trauma patients, or people in hypercoagulable states, which is people with factor V Leiden mutation. And in your case, we think that thrombophilia has a direct effect leading to this disease of venous thromboembolism.
Okay.
And did you want to talk more about the factor V Leiden mutation?
Yeah, so we got back your results, and like Julia said, everything was normal except the mutation for the Leiden factor V gene. So what this means is that in your DNA there was a mistake when it was being processed. So the Leiden factor V mutation actually causes a higher resistance to something called protein C. Protein C leads to a downregulation and hypercoagulability. So basically it just means that you're more prone to blood clots. But I don't want to worry you because most patients with this mutation are asymptomatic. I bet you didn't even know that you had it until today.
I didn't.
Yeah, so like we saw with your mom, we think that this might be related. We think that she might have this mutation as well, considering it's hereditary. So the most common presentation of a venous thromboembolism is a deep vein thrombosis. So did your mother ever complain about cramping in the legs at all?
Yeah, all the time.
Okay, so that might have been what it's from. So a frequent complication of a deep vein thrombosis is a pulmonary embolism. And with a pulmonary embolism, survival rate is less than 60%. So the reason I'm telling you about this mutation is because this mutation is one of the main reasons somebody might get a venous thromboembolism. So it's good that we're here, it's good that we know. So we just want to educate you from now on about what to do with Misty and then the new child that you're expecting. So as far as this mutation goes, I want to talk about incidence a little bit, so how prevalent it is in the US where we live. So the estimated incidence rate is about 350,000 to 600,000, with 100,000 to 300,000 leading to fatalities. Venous thromboembolism is the third most common life-threatening cardiovascular condition in the United States, which is why it's great that we're here today to figure out what we can do to make sure that nothing else goes wrong. Okay, so it's definitely manageable. And also the mode for this mutation, and the Leiden factor V mutation. So the mode just describes how this mutation is going to be carried throughout the different generations of your family. So if your mother did have it, it's now passed on to you. We want to make sure that it's not passed on to your children, and if it is, we can make sure that it's manageable. So a venous thromboembolism is a complex multifactorial disease which incorporates both genetic and environmental conditions. So like we said, that Leiden factor 5 is the genetic component, and environmental factors such as diet, exercise, things like that. Even climate too. So along with testing for the Leiden factor 5, we also tested for the prothrombin gene mutation, deficiencies in protein S and protein C, and also the antithrombin, which can also cause a venous thromboembolism, all of which you were negative for except the Leiden factor 5 mutation. So that's great news. Okay, so I just want to stop here. Is there anything that's not making sense to you so far?
I just feel like I'm in science class. They're telling us to keep the kid, but they're telling us that you can die.
It's a little confusing.
I don't.
It's hard.
What is she talking about?
I don't know. I mean, it was all complex and crazy.
I don't
Maybe
know
the PA
if I
could
trust
explain it
her.
better.
Like, what kind of education does she have?
She has a high degree of education actually, but I can get a supervisor for you.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, please.
I have some water, Mommy.
Yeah.
Hi, so I brought my supervisor, Caitlin.
Hi, nice to meet you. This is
How
Misty.
you doing?
Nice to meet you. Hi, Misty.
Hi.
So I hear you guys have some questions and there's some uncertainties with what Amber explained to you.
Yeah, I don't even know what she's talking about. I don't understand her education level. I just don't trust her.
Okay, so I have something that could help. I drew a diagram on a board for you. It's called a pedigree. It just traces your family history. So I can maybe explain it a little bit better.
Yeah,
give you like a visual to see as well.
That's what she should have done.
So let me pull my pedigree over here. So,
Honey, move back a little bit.
I'm back.
alright. So as you can see here, we have your family. We have Mike's family here as well, but as far as we know, you don't have this mutation and you don't have this condition, correct?
Yep.
All right. So we have your family over here, Megan. We have your dad still alive, correct?
Yeah, he is.
Okay, and your mom just recently passed away?
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago.
I'm sorry to hear that. What did she pass away
They
from?
said pulmonary embolism.
Okay, so we have that correct. Do you understand a pulmonary
No,
embolism?
I have no idea what that means.
Okay, so did she have a history at all of deep vein thrombosis? Did you ever hear that term before?
Yeah, they said something about clots in the legs.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
she had a lot of pain.
So there are blood clots in your legs, and sometimes they break loose. When those clots break loose, they can travel to your heart, get stuck in the pulmonary artery, which goes to your lungs. So that clot is inhibiting blood from getting to your lungs, which can cause shortness of breath and a lot of issues that you can tell. They often lead to death as well. So we were thinking that's maybe what caused your mom's death. And so we tested you, and we found that you had the factor 5 Leiden, which isn't a big deal really. You probably didn't even know you had it, but what's concerning is it predisposes you to these blood clots like your mom had. So just knowing that you have it and taking the precautions and preventative measures can actually really benefit you in the long run. So that's what we brought for today. We're finding about your unborn child. So we want to know if they have that condition as well, and what are the chances. It's good to find out when they're young so that you can take those precautions throughout life and just always know that they have that. But he or she would live a very healthy life.
Okay, so you wouldn't have to worry about money.
Thank God.
So our next step would be to get Mike and Missy tested, because then we could better foresee what the chances are for this child, because it is factor 5 Leiden is transmitted through both either one parent or both, either autosomal dominant or recessive. So by looking at more of your family's genetics, we can see what the likelihood of your unborn child is.
What kind of testing is this? Because Mike's a little afraid of needles.
So it's blood testing. We do it here in the office. What we do is just take a small sample of blood and send it away to the lab. Usually like 1 to 2 weeks we get the answers back, and we can call you in, and then we'll meet with Amber again and Julia.
I prefer Julia.
Okay.
Yeah, same. I would prefer Julia.
Okay. Well, we could meet with Julia then. Amber is very knowledgeable about genetics, and that'd be helpful. If you have any other questions, there is a support group called the Northern American Thrombosis Forum, and you can chat. You can't chat. So you can look at other patients' stories, and you can look at clinical trials that are in some more information if you want to get more information on that.
I mean, then we can chat with others too.
It's actually
It's
one
good
of the
for you.
downfalls about the forum is that you can't chat live to live or face to face with another person, but they do host different meetings, but they're pretty infrequent.
Honey, I think we should go.
Like leave?
No. Like, go to the meeting.
Great.
What's so funny?
Please, Misty.
Daddy's not listening, honey. It's okay.
So it was very nice meeting you.
Nice
I look forward
to
to your
meet you
next
too.
visit. Good luck with your pregnancy.
Thank you.
Missy, nice meeting you, Misty.
What are you worried about?
I don't know.
You're worried about everything.
I don't know if I want to know.
Start over. You're good.
Okay.
Did we know this?
I didn't know this. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Okay, and if you want to know
I think we should get a